Yo, what is up, Patreon? Austin Dunham back again with another video. Super excited for this video because we are going to be going over my new ebook called The Dating Funnel, Less BS, More Dates. Now, before we get into it, what I need you to do is somewhere around here, you're going to see a download link to where you can get it. And starting here and further on, if you're a part of the Patreon, you should have gotten an email sent to you with the ebook there. So go ahead and open it up, follow along with me. Now, before we get into that, let's talk about what a funnel is and why I created this. So I'm involved in business a lot, right? So there's something called a sales funnel, and this is literally what it is modeled after, a sales funnel. So at the funnel, or any type of funnel, it starts with a big opening, right? Big opening, and it slowly makes its way down. So in sales, in a sales funnel, we have our leads or prospects, people who are potentially interested in what we have to offer. It starts off with a lot of people, right? And then it'll slowly make its way down the funnel. Each funnel has like a sort of criteria that people have to get through. And then all the way at the end of the funnel is somebody buying from you or you making the sale. But in the dating funnel, what I modeled this after is at the top, we still have our prospects, right? So this will start off as matches or something. And then at the end of the funnel, after they hit all these different requirements, that's when, obviously you either hooking up with a girl, a relationship, whatever you're into is at the end of the funnel. So I kind of devised a pretty go-to funnel that I realized that I always use, and we're gonna break it down and I'm gonna take you guys along through it. So let's hop on the computer, I'm gonna break it down. All right, guys, we got the ebook open now. As you see, The Dating Funnel, More Dates, Less BS. We got a lovely couple here enjoying a glass of wine. Looks like some sort of white wine, kind of gross. I prefer red, but that's besides the point. Let's move on to the first one. And as you see, we start off with the prospects. So these prospects start off either by dating apps or warm approaching a chick. So with dating apps, obviously matches on Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, whatever you may use. First things first with prospects, we have to filter out low and medium interest women. The rule of being a high value dude and going through this dating funnel is that we only mess with girls who have high interest in us. Now, guys, going through this, you might be thinking to yourself, but I can't do this, or this might work for you, Austin, but it's not going to work for me. Guys, you got to realize that this all starts off with self-improvement and becoming the best version of yourself. So yes, it might take some time, but I promise this is the way to go. But we'll explain more as we kind of go along. So we only want to deal with high interest women. And the way that we filter out these low and medium interest women is that rule number one with dating apps is they must message us first. Don't let that scare you away. And then number two, as I said in this one with warm approach, they must give us choosing signals that we want to approach. So no cold messaging, no cold approaching a part of this dating funnel. We only want to deal with girls who have the most attraction to us initially. All right, so when I say priority low, what this means is that you're going to engage in messaging 1 to 2 messages a day, but it can be variable. So this can be variable depending on how many women you're already talking to. You guys got to remember that as you're doing this, you should already have woman in number 2, warm and hot. So you really don't have a lot of time for these prospects, but we still do it because, one of my biggest rules is that you always want to keep prospecting women. 1 to 2 messages a day, that should, give you enough time to deal with these other girls and also, live your life a little bit. All right, so for the next thing, initial small talk, 5 to 10 messages. But the biggest thing a part of this is that you want to pay attention to her response times and conversation engagement. So you'll notice this whole process is about filtering women. And then after you had a little initial small talk, what you want to do for dating apps is say, I'm not on here much, message me on Instagram. So the reason why you do this is because 1, remember, they already messaged us first, and 2, you're getting her to invest even more through her actions by going on IG, typing your social media, and messaging you again after the initial small talk. And you only want to do this when you're ready to plan a date with her. Let's say you're busy with other dates and other women. You still want to engage in the 1 to 2 messages a day, and don't move her to the next part of the funnel until you're ready to set a date. And then if you want to approach her, then you can skip to step number 2. So this is the first area in the funnel, the biggest, where we have like all those prospects and a lot of women. And truth be told, a lot of women will not make it past this one, but the ones who do pretty much will have a way, way better closing rate, and it just get easier and easier. So now let's move on to step number 2, and that is setting up the date. Warm. So they're cold. They were cold, but now they are warm. And now we have a high interest prospect. So our priority now is medium, and we're going to message every 2 to 4 hours. So still no longer like 1 to 2 messages a day, but not as fast as possible. You still want to do it kind of slow, so 2 to 4 hours. And you want to message through Instagram to show social proof and increase attraction. Now, Austin, I only have 500 followers and I'm following 2,000 people. I don't post any pictures. Well, bro, that's probably why you have zero success on dating apps. You need to get your social media status up, and you do that by posting pictures of yourself, doing fun things with friends, showing your hobby, and getting your social media engagement up. Now, you can clearly see why something like this will work for me. When a girl talks to me on a dating app, then she messages me on IG and we're DMing, she sees that I have a lot of followers, she sees that I'm verified, and that increases her attraction even more. A lot of guys would kind of skip this step and go straight to like a phone number, but I find that it works best if a girl kind of sees you how you are socially, because like I said, it gives you social proof and a lot of it. And if you're posting actively on your stories, and it just makes it that much better, guys. And she gains trust with you subconsciously, so that when you actually plan the date, she's more willing to accept and even go over to your place on the first date. So keep that in mind. You can go straight to the number, but I don't recommend it. And then moving on, do not follow, just message. Guys, when they message you, you'll notice that a lot of them will follow you, but do not follow them back, just message. They have to earn that follow. Every single girl with me has to earn that follow. And then more small talk, but not too much. So continue on talking, every 2 to 4 hours, but remember to not kill the mystery. So kind of make her do more of the investment, get her to talk more about herself, but don't say too much about yourself yet. And then you'll notice that right here, a lot of girls will try to give you their Snapchat, or they'll suggest Snapchat. And I realize that you want to avoid Snapchat unless she offers it first, but you still want to try IG though. So never give a girl your Snapchat or tell her to Snapchat you unless you just don't have an Instagram or your IG is just that horrible. You always want to go with IG for right now. And the reason why you want to avoid Snapchat is because you're going to fall into this beta male orbiter trap. And you got to keep in mind, guys, Snapchat is a lot smaller scale than IG. And a lot of girls have a ton of dudes that they're talking to on Snapchat. And trust me, the conversation is just going to die, go nowhere. And then you're going to end up being one of those dudes who just watches her story and y'all never end up meeting. So do not get the Snapchat unless you already met her. Always go for the IG DM. And then when you're ready, you want to, as soon as possible, set up the date. And you do this by, after, talk, maybe 2 to 3 messages. Here's what you say right here. You say, what's your schedule like this week? We should meet up. Don't say, hey, we should hang out. Don't say, hey, want to meet me for a drink? We should go out somewhere. No. Say, what's your schedule like this week? We should meet up. Because it's showing clear interest that you want to meet up, but she doesn't know what you want to do yet. So you want to gauge her interest level based on this and her response. Then from there, you want to set the date based around your personal schedule, interests, and intentions. So let's say she says, hey, I would like that. I'm free on Wednesday after I get off work. Let's say that you have another girl already Wednesday, but you have Friday opening. You would say, hey, I actually have something going on Wednesday, but Friday I do have something free. Would that work for you instead? Always go based around your schedule, not her schedule. But if Wednesday did work for you, then that works out perfectly. Interests. So this is the first date. So you don't want to do anything too extravagant or crazy. You want to keep it pretty simple and or cheap and based on your intentions. So let's say you're just trying to hook up with as many girls as possible. Then you want to clearly invite her over to your place. And if she's following through this dating funnel perfectly and you're doing everything right, the percentage of her coming over to your place on the first date is going to be like 90%. Kid you not. That's why everything must be done perfectly in this funnel, guys. And in the next few videos, I'm going to give an example of how this funnel is perfectly laid out and how I implement it. So remember to do it based on your intention schedule. And if you do go out, keep it simple. Go to a bar, grab smoothies, a walk in the park, keep the investment low. All right, so once she has agreed to the date, we're now going to move on to the last part of the dating funnel, and that is meeting up. And this is a hot prospect now because the date is agreed and set. She's made it all the way down to the end of the funnel, but we are not done yet, guys. You still got some work to do. So here's where the priority is high. A girl that has already agreed to meet you, now you can message her whenever you're personally free. No more 1 to 2 messages a day, no more 2 to 4 hours waiting. Message whenever you're personally free. And so what I like to do now is message them through phone number and text. And the reason why I do that is because, one, it's a little bit more personal and you feel like you have a better interaction with them when somebody actually has your phone number. And personally, I be checking text faster than I do IG messages and Snapchat and dating app messages, if that makes sense. And how you do this, you're going to say, what's your number so I can reach you faster after the date is agreed and set. And then she's going to give you her number, and then you don't want to text immediately. Let's say the date is on Thursday night and she gave you her number Tuesday. You're going to wait until Wednesday to text her and be like, hey, this is Austin. And just say that. Just say, hey, this is Austin. And then she's going to be like, hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. You can talk for a little bit. And then before you want to say, let's say she tries to go on a tangent, talking more, just say, I don't want to kill the mystery too much, but I'll hit you up day of the date. So in our case, I don't want to kill the mystery too much, but I'll hit you up Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon before the date. And then the day of the date, let's say it's Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday morning now, you're going to say, have a productive day. I'll send you the location on where to meet me here soon. And so you want to do this kind of like, let's say you're meeting at night, do it at the least in the afternoon, because what I realized is that if you don't text a girl in the afternoon and the date is at the night, two things will happen. Either she will text you as a follow-up, making sure y'all are still meeting, or she will think that you don't want to meet her no more and she'll create other plans. So make sure to text her by noon at least and send her this message. And then about an hour or two when the date's about to come, send her the location. Y'all meet up. You escalate, do whatever you have to do, lay your game, and you close. And guys, that is literally the dating funnel. So we took a cold prospect, which has a lot of women in this one, and we filter out the low, medium interest by making them go through all these hoops, all these different steps they have to do, and even messaging us first, choosing signals. And by the time they made it to the end, that's how you know they're into you. So that's why I like following this, because at the end, there's no question or doubt that the girl is into you. And yes, you're going to have to go through a lot of women, guys. My Tinder right now has over 1,300 matches, active matches, and it has over like 1,000 likes or something like that. And I clearly have not met 1,000 women, right? But you know, you just got to go through it. So you can actually implement this funnel in your own personal way, kind of adjust it to your personal liking. You can use it as a blueprint, but just kind of study it and learn from it and implement. I promise your dates are going to be that much better and you're going to deal with a lot less BS. So stay tuned for the future Patreon videos. Stay subscribed. I'm going to see you guys in the next one.